Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Friday, July 7th, 2023. We have 12 baseball games to talk about here on today's podcast. Joined today by my good buddy Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, what's happening, my friend?
What's up, family? I am good. It's another day, another slate. It's MLB, and MLB has been going really well for me here over the past couple of weeks. So excited to come on and talk some strategy, talk a little bit of information yet again.
Yeah, I mean, I got super busy on Thursday, and I'm very sad that I got super busy because I was very high on the Orioles on the podcast yesterday. And Gunnar Henderson was my home run call, and they smashed. So feel bad about that. But hey, can't win them all. Can't play every slate, and I learned that a long time ago. When you get busy, you usually make bad lineups. So you can't play every slate. Hopefully, people listened about Baltimore because they smashed. So good if you did. So yeah. No Gunner, no cash. What's up, YouTube chat? Hope everyone's having a fantastic Thursday night. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind YouTube page, and let's get on it. But let's get into this. We got 12 games. We're got a lot to talk about. We're going to have us a Friday here. We get started with Cubs and Yankees, 8.5 total. We have Rodon against Tyon. Yeah. It threw me off.
This is a throwback matchup.
Yeah, it is. It threw me off for a second. Real first look for me. I haven't done a lot. Today's been super busy, but
yeah.
Yankees minus 168 here. Let's start with the Cubs. Any interest here in Jameson Tyon?
No.
That was fast. Right off the bat, people in chat were already wondering when it was going to happen, when we were going to get our first no.
Oh, man, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I guess I didn't disappoint them. I can't play Jameson Tyon today. I just can't.
Yeah, I mean, his pitch count is finally getting back up there. His strikeouts have been fine. He's just been super hittable here recently and pretty much all season. So really, we kind of need him to miss some bats before we start playing Jameson Tyon again. The price is super intriguing. Tough matchup against the Yankees. I don't think I do it today on him. Carlos Rodon. I mean, what? Who's on the 60-day IL? I assume that he's going to have a pitch count here. He threw 3 2/3. It was only 58 pitches in his final rehab start. So, I'm assuming 75 max. I'd be shocked if he goes over 75. I don't think we can pay 9,100 for him in this matchup.
Yeah, no, not at all. And it's really just, I think, the pitching limitations. If he was full go here and had been pitching 2 or 3 starts and we still saw the strikeout stuff, I think I'd be okay with Carlos today. But I mean, given the situation, I don't see how anybody can be intrigued. He's just not going to pitch enough, and that's just the bottom line.
Let's talk bats. Any interest in the Cubs here against the lefty making his first start of the season?
I mean, Steve, I think for me, whenever I got a pitcher coming out the IL, especially, I mean, one like Carlos, 60 days, I think I'm always going to take some shots. So I think it's a stack situation for me. It's I don't really want to one off the Cubs because they could very easily come out here and strike out a ton. But that's the way I would approach this. I just take the Cubs and kind of stack them a couple different ways because Rodon could easily get smashed here in this spot. He's in Yankee Stadium. It's going to be a good hitting ballpark, and so that's where I am in terms of this whole matchup.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at it, right, Yan Gomes has been fantastic this year against left-handed pitching. He has a 277 ISO, 366 WOBA. He's 3,400. So nice little value. You could chase a home run there. Morel's starting to hit again, and he's hit for a lot of power against lefties this year at 275 ISO. So those would be my 2 favorites. And then if for some reason the Cubs decide they don't want to hit Patrick Wisdom last, he's been someone that has big-time platoon splits as well. So Maybe more of a mini stack for me, but definitely chasing some home runs here. Yankee Stadium's a nice ballpark upgrade for the Cubs. Yankees against Tyon. Again, Tyon has not been missing bats this year. The Yankees they've been ice cold. I want to see McKinney in the lineup. He's 2,100. He hit 6 on Thursday with Bowers banged up. So if he's back in the lineup in this spot, 2,100, I love the value there. We're going to have some spots where we want to pay up for some stuff. So looking at some cheaper bats for the Yankees. But overall, I don't hate the Yankees in this spot. Tyon, he's been super hittable this year.
Yeah, for sure, man. Jameson Taillon, he's been just a mixed bag of emotions, in my opinion. Once again, he's had his injuries this season already. He's come back, like you said, you talked about the leash, but he's been very hittable. I mean, he's given up 4 to 6 hits every game. I know the Yankees haven't been hitting well, but I still think this is a very attackable spot, with the pitcher that he's just been attackable all season. So I feel the same way about both of these teams for different reasons. I think the Yankees could tee off because Taillon just has been giving up a lot of hits. I think the Cubs could tee off because Rodon just may not be all the way back. All in all, I think we take the Yankees, we stack them. They're not that expensive right now, especially with Judge still on the shelf. So you've got a fair amount of options here. And I don't think the Yankees are going to be that intriguing on this slate because there are a whole lot of other real good games. So for that reason alone, I think the Yankees stack up as a pretty good contrarian proposition.
Rangers and Nationals, no total in this game. Bradford and Williams facing off against each other. Cody Bradford starting here. He's kind of gone back and forth on like opening and working at the bullpen. He threw 30 pitches 4 days ago. I assume that we're going to get a healthy 75 to 85 pitches out of him if he's pitching well. Any interest here at 4K going up against Washington?
I don't think so. And I mean, it's 4K. I get it. Washington has been a fairly low strikeout team this season. And so when you've got a guy that already is, I mean, Steve, he's probably fringe at best. Like he could throw for 30 pitches. He could throw for 40. He could throw for 70. I don't know. I think I'm just going to leave him out. It's just too much uncertainty. Unless I get a tweet or something from the Rangers organization telling me that he's going, a full go and is going to go for 80 pitches, I think I just got to let him sit on the shelf.
I think if you're playing 150 teams, he has a strikeout rate worth potentially taking a shot on.
Totally get that. I totally get that. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're attacking that. Bradford has a 27% K rate through the work that he's done between starting and coming out of the bullpen. The work that he's done, he has a 27% K rate. His biggest issue has been fly balls and power. Gives up a ton of hard contact. So you don't worry about that as much with Washington. They have a couple right-handed bats in this lineup, but I think if you're playing 150 teams, he might make the pool just because he's 4K. He's 4,000. 12 points is triple his salary. If your other pitcher and the bats do their thing, I mean, you're close. I think you're wanting 15 plus, but I could see Bradford getting strikeouts in this game. It's just whether or not he gets hit hard or not. Trevor Williams on the other side of this game, nope, no chance. I'll give you the good old-fashioned Chief Justice no on this one.
Yeah, you don't have to ask me, sir. Negative.
Yeah, Trevor Williams is someone I want to pick on, and that's for sure.
Whew,
low strikeouts, high WOBA, 46% hard hit rate, barrel rate at like 11%. I mean, this is a spot I definitely want to stack some Texas Rangers if the weather is okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and Texas has hit well for a good stretch anyway. This is a good spot for this team.
Yeah, I mean, everybody. Lowe, Garcia, Young, Seager, Simeon, Heim, Duran.
I'm salivating over here. I am salivating.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going.
Oh, gosh.
Anytime they want me to keep going, I'll keep going. I love this spot for Texas.
Yeah, man. And the thing about it is they are expensive, Stevie. So, Jung is 5K, okay? If that gives it. Heim is 4,800. Like, if you want to play the Texas Rangers today, you've got to go out and get the Texas Rangers. There are no freebies, really. So I love them even more for that reason, Stevie. I think this is a sensational spot for the Rangers against a really bad major league pitcher. I love this spot.
As far as the Washington bats go, if Lane Thomas hits leadoff or Stone Garrett is up there towards the top, I don't mind these guys. I'm not full stacking Washington. Lane Thomas's price definitely makes you think twice about it, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, Stone Garrett's 2,500. You add a third piece there with like maybe a Vargas or an Adams at catcher. And I mean, it's a nice little 3-man stack, but I don't think I'm 5-man stacking Washington today.
Yeah, not at all. And I don't 5-man stack Washington any day, Stevie. So, excuse me, definitely not going to start today. Once again, very low strikeout team, not a high ISO team. And I feel like I can fade the Washington Nationals every day, and I'm going to come out ahead at the end of the season.
I don't think you're wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we got Oakland at Boston. Medina and Walter, Corey Seager and Freddie Freeman, both just homered. Oakland at Boston, no total in this game. It sounds like Brandon Walter is going to get the start here. He was recalled earlier this week. He made his debut last month, towards the beginning, middle of last month. And then Medina pitching for Oakland. Any interest here in Luis Medina?
No, not against Boston. And we have seen him, Stevie. He's
hard to take the next step, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think I want to do it against Boston. I know Boston hasn't been just lighting the world on fire, but I think there's enough power and enough low strikeout bats to give him some problems today. So for that reason, I can't play him, but he has been pitching better as he's progressed here recently.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of the minors, we heard good things. It really hasn't translated. And like his walk rate is still, I think the biggest thing. His command is still the biggest thing. So I mean, that's always concerning. This is a tough matchup for any right-handed pitcher. I don't have a ton of interest in Medina here. Brandon Walter on the other side of this game, like I said, made his debut last month. He is a sinker cutter slider guy. I mean, he's not a huge strikeout guy, but he hasn't really struggled with home runs and minors or anything like that. Oakland is a good matchup. He's another 4K guy that, like, I think you have to stop and think about for a second. If he was a right-handed pitcher, man, I'd be all over him in this spot.
Yeah, I think that's where I am. Like that, and it's weird you said that, Stevie, because I have not played a lot of lefties against Oakland, but I've played righties, and I think I'm going to stick with that stance today. Now, look, I fully understand Walter. He could come out here, Stevie, and put together a nice quality performance, but I think I'm going to pass for today, and I've got some other guys that I like a little bit more.
So, Will, I'm just kind of digging in a little bit more here on Walter. I mean, he really hasn't pitched much lately. Like, so July 4th, he threw an inning. The 30th, he threw 2 innings in AAA. He really hasn't thrown a lot. I don't expect him to go deep in this game, so I think I'm out. The more I look into him, the more I think that maybe 3 innings here, maybe 4 innings. Yeah. I don't think he pitches deep, so I'm gonna pass. Kind of like Jose Ramirez home run. That was Keith's favorite play yesterday. Hey Keith, your guy hit 1, my guy hit 2. Sup? Oakland bats. Oakland bats. Ruiz was not in the lineup Thursday. They said that he was dealing with a shoulder injury. I really hope he's back in the lineup hitting leadoff here.
All those bases he's stealing.
I know.
My shoulder would be hurting too if I got a chance to steal second every time I got on base.
I watched him steal third the other night.
He's just swiping bags left and right, man. It's amazing.
Let's talk Oakland bats. Roker, probably my favorite here. I do like Ruiz if he's back in the lineup. Langoliers at catcher. Probably not a stack spot for me for Oakland, but I could definitely use a couple of these pieces that are cheap.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what you mentioned. Like, a guy like Ruiz, Stevie, like, you could almost just keep playing him. He's 4,200. I don't think that's too expensive for his upside. if he gets on base at all, Stevie, like there's potential steal threats every time. So I like the opportunity that he provides. You talked about Rooker. I like him as well. He's just very cheap. So I think you can one off some of these cheap bats and maybe go home run hunting with some of them. Or in Ruiz's case, you're going stolen base hunting. All in all, I'm not stacking Oakland. I'm right along with you.
All right. Boston bats. Man, I kind of like Boston. They've been cold.
Yep.
Back at home here. Oakland's bullpen is atrocious. I mean, maybe this is the spot we jump back on the Red Sox.
Yeah, I think it's time, Stevie. Like we've got pretty much all their big bats are now back under 5K. Yoshida's 4,800, Duvall's 4,700, Verdugo's 4,100, Durant's 3,500. You've got Devers at 4,900. Turner's at 4K. I think this team is very nicely priced on this slate against a pitcher that I think they have a chance to score some runs on. So give me the Boston Red Sox. I like them a ton today. This might be my favorite team to stack out of all the early games, believe it or not. I like Texas, or I love Texas, but Boston as a whole, I think with the pricing, one of my favorite teams out of the early set of games to stack for sure.
Yeah, I do. I like this spot a lot.
Yeah, it's a good spot for them. It's a real good spot.
Not even trying to be a homer. I think this is a good spot for them. Kansas City at Cleveland, 8 total. Guardians a 190 favorite. Lynch and Savali facing off against each other. Any interest here in Daniel Lynch?
Nope. And look, I don't have anything against Lynch. I don't want to make that the quick no like some of these other guys, but at 6K, does he have upside? Yes. I don't think he has enough against Cleveland, Stevie. And so for that reason, man, I can't play him today. I think Cleveland, I know they've got some higher strikeout bats at the bottom of this lineup now, but even still, man, the top of this lineup, they just don't strike out enough. And I think he's going to need strikeouts because he's going to walk some guys. He's going to give up some runs. So that's where I am.
Yeah, I mean, overall, who said you could play Nelson on the podcast yesterday? I said Nelson was terrible for what it's worth. I said the Mets were in play. People were giving me crap in chat last night about the Mets being ice cold and playing Nelson.
Maybe he meant the Grinders live.
Perhaps. Oh, well, hey, don't listen to those guys. They don't know what we're talking about. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. So, yeah, I mean, overall, looking at this lineup, there's just no strikeout upside whatsoever. Even against left-handed pitching, there's just no strikeout upside. I don't want to play Lynch today. On the other hand, like the other side of this game, though, Savali, like the Royals are bad. They're
man,
bad, man.
Oh
yeah, Brent. We talked about Bradish. Bradish was our guy, and Baltimore was our guy. And the Mets, they're hitting too. All right. I get sidetracked, man. I get so sidetracked. That I love having YouTube chat, but it definitely gets me more sidetracked when I'm doing these podcasts.
Well, I can't get as sidetracked tonight because I don't have my usual setup, so I'm like on another screen.
You're welcome. All right. Talk to me about Savali here at 7,700.
So seriously, Stevie, this is probably the great conundrum of this whole entire slate. And here's what I mean by that. So you've got Savali, who's, by my account, Stevie, probably by all accounts, hasn't been great this season at all. And then you've got Kansas City, where their offense is their offense worse than his pitching? That's the question to me today, and this is the great conundrum because I want to play Savali 7,700. I almost feel like it's still a little too expensive because of his lack of strikeout upside, but he's got to have more strikeout upside today against the Kansas City Royals. I feel like the Kit Kat commercial the Twix commercial was left and right, and I got to pick a side. and I feel like I'm regretting it already, but I think I'm going to side with $7,700 Savale, and I hope I don't have to eat these words later.
I'm going to play him. His strikeout rate last year was around 24%. It's dipped, but it's picked up a little bit here recently. He's a huge ground ball guy. I mean, he's a guy that can get a strikeout. He could get a strikeout, and we'll get that ending any double play if he gets into trouble because of his ground ball rate. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a spot we can take some shots on him. He's just too cheap. He's too cheap. We like some expensive bats. I could see him getting 20 plus in this matchup. I can see him getting -10 in this matchup. So I like the matchup, but I mean, the Royals have just been struggling so much that it's so hard not to have interest in any pitcher. I might even take you facing the Royals right now, Will. So,
I mean, I can probably, I would give myself, Stevie, probably true fastball. I can probably still get in the 60s. That's about it. I'm like Rich Hill right now.
Yeah, they'd be taking you deep, buddy. There's not one guy in the majors that can't hit a 60-mile-an-hour fastball over the wall.
But it's about locations. Location.
Will, there's not one guy in the majors that cannot take a 60-mile-an-hour fastball.
I'm gonna run it away from them. They're gonna think it's coming in hot, and they're gonna swing, and it's tailing.
They're gonna hit it so hard, you're gonna be like, my ears hurt, Stevie. All right. Talk to me.
I didn't play pitcher anyway. I played second, so that pitcher was never my thing. Yeah, I had a good friend of mine, Reggie Taylor. He played pitcher. He was actually really good. But I
want someone to gun my disc golf forehand. I've been zipping it lately.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Kansas City bats. What's jumping out to you for Kansas City, if anything?
I kind of don't want to play Kansas City today. It's like the tale of the two cities. I can't do it, man. I'm not getting involved with the Kansas City Royals. They have been atrocious. I can't do it.
I mean, if you're building lineups and you end up on Witt or Perez, I don't hate it. I wouldn't talk you off of playing those guys. Garcia, hitting leadoff is really cheap, but it's not like he's been good. He has upside. He has ceiling. He can steal bases. So, I mean, him as a cheap guy at 3,400 hitting leadoff, I don't hate that. But overall, I mean, I'm not stacking the Royals here. It'd be one-offs of Witt, Perez, or Garcia if he hits leadoff. Because Garcia, you can play at shortstop as well. And I mean, his stolen base upside is worth having a little bit of exposure. Cleveland, any interest in the Cleveland bats here?
I don't hate some of these guys from Cleveland. We talked about Ramirez and what he's been able to do. Just in general, he's 5,800. Don't care. Think he's a great one-off. I don't mind Josh Naylor at 4,200. I think he's a good one-off. And some of these lefties, but I don't want to stack Cleveland. I think. Well, let me say this: 2 to 3 man stack is my max for Cleveland today.
Man, I really, 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 really hate playing Cleveland. I can't say it enough. I hate playing Cleveland. If I'm playing Cleveland bats, Rosario, Ramirez, Jimenez, maybe Josh Bell, I'm not going out of my way to play Cleveland. All right, Cincinnati at Milwaukee. Abbott and Burns facing off against each other here. Currently at 8 total. The Brewers a 135 favorite. Will, talk to me. What are your thoughts on Abbott at 9,900 here?
I don't mind Abbott. I think, I know he's facing Milwaukee. Milwaukee's been a team that's definitely struck out a lot this season, Stevie. And I know it's been a little bit more to lefties and righties. Guess what? 9,900 Abbott feels expensive. Check the man's track record. He's pitching well right now. One of their hottest prospects. And I think at 9,900, it's well worth it to get him against the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, this could be another. I'm going to go on the safe side, Steve, and say he picks up at least 6. I think he's got upside for 8 to 10.
He is definitely somebody that I'll be looking for in the pick'em and prop street for strikeout upside here. His strikeout prop. So I absolutely love this spot for Andrew Abbott.
And he's probably coming out at 7.5. That's going to be my like. I don't see
I'm
how
over
he comes
that.
out.
I'm over that. I'm taking.
I will too, but I'm saying there's no way he comes in at 5.5. 6.5 is like the safe line. I think it's 7.5 today.
Yeah, man, dude, I applaud what the Reds have done. You know, I hate on a lot of like coaching and GM decisions and stuff, but I think what the Reds have done, calling these guys up and just letting them get their experience in the pros instead of in AAA, has been phenomenal. Love Andrew Abbott today. Like the Reds money line in this game, if you're into that kind of thing. Corbin Burns, he's been all over the place this year. I mean, we get good starts, we get bad starts, we get everything in between. His numbers over the last 30 days are almost identical to his year numbers. He's just all over the place. There's nothing consistent about him outside of the fact that he's just not giving up a ton of hard contact and barrels. Any interest in Burns here?
No, I can't do it, Stevie. And so here's the thing. Cincinnati's been hitting really well, and Burns has been bad since spring training. Like, there have been some spots where I felt like you could use him against like really bad teams. Like Kansas City, I think you could get away with Burns this season. I don't think you can get away with Cincinnati. Stevie, this team has been lighting up pitchers left and right. And so you've got a guy that's struggling to get strikeouts, giving up contact. I don't think Corbin Burns is a good investment today.
Large field tournaments, go for it. Right? Like large field tournaments, go for it. But like if you're playing a single entry or 3 entry max, I just don't think I get there.
Heavens no.
Yeah. He's so all over the place. Cincinnati bats. This might be a spot I finally put Cincinnati on the shelf, facing Burns and at these prices.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can also, let me say this to you, if you're investing in 150, if you're getting up to 150 lineups, I think you got to get them in. I think this is a good spot because Burns may actually get some ownership today at this price, Stevie. That's the thing. I think at the price, people are going to want to invest in Burns at $9K. And if this was Burns from last season, he'd probably be the highest owned pitcher on the slate. This season, I don't think he's the highest owned, but I think he's going to get a lot of ownership. I'm just going to say it like this. I'm going to stack. I would love to stack Cincinnati just in a couple lineups in the event they tee off on Mr. Corbin Burns.
All right. Milwaukee bats. I'm gonna say I'm just gonna be well overweight on Abbott, and I don't plan on playing Milwaukee today.
Yeah, they can stay on the shelf. Next question.
I am taking a stand today when it comes to Abbott.
Yeah, I love
he's probably my favorite. He's probably my favorite pitcher on the slate.
Oh yeah,
hands
down.
Baltimore at Minnesota. 8.5 total in this game. Man, why? I can't get over the fact that like the Brewers are 135 favorite in that game. Anyway, Baltimore, Minnesota.
I think it's the Corbin Burns effect.
They're at home too. They get the home.
Retro. Yeah.
I mean, just the Reds have been a better lineup. They've just been a better overall team. Anyway, listen, I like the money line for that one.
Let me tell you how fun the Reds are right now. Just quick story here, and I'm done. So I'm a Braves fan. My future wife is a Braves fan. My son now says he's a Cincinnati Reds fan. He's actually going to have to find somewhere to live real soon. I'm just kidding, but that's how fun the Cincinnati Reds have been this season. That's the impact they've made on baseball, on a new generation of baseball players. My son's not a baseball player at all. He's not really big into baseball, but he said that, and of course, right after he said, "Yeah, so can you get me an Ellie De La Cruz jersey?" Okay, well, we'll see about that. But Yeah, that's how fun this Cincinnati Reds team has been. I got to give it to them.
Yeah. You need your car cleaned. You know,
Hey,
need the garage picked up.
oh man,
Need
yeah.
I need the future missus needs some stuff done in the closet and Hey, you want
Yeah.
that jersey? You're gonna earn it, boy.
There you go.
All
There you
right,
go.
Baltimore at Minnesota, 8.5 total. Any dads or moms that are listening to the podcast completely understand everything I just said. That's all.
Oh yeah.
8.5 total. Twins a 150 favorite. Ober and Irvin facing off against each other. Any interest in Cole Irvin?
Okay, Stevie, hear me out here. I want to because of who he's facing, but I can't. Cole Irvin, he's just not good enough. Like if he was a little bit better, like I'd consider it. He's just not good enough, even in this spot. I can't. I cannot do it.
People on YouTube were like, "What is Stevie's face?" Will just scared me. I thought he was about to pitch a Cole Irvin thought on how we should play Cole Irvin. It worried me there for a second, but yeah, 19% Ks, 390 WOBA, 390 to righties. He has struggled with fly balls. He struggled with hard contact. Swinging strike rate's under 9%. Barrel percentage is 16.7% against righties. Not playing Irvin today. Bailey Ober, he's put some good games together. He just dominated this team 5 days ago. 85 pitches, 8 strikeouts, 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs. 8 pitchers back-to-back against facing teams back-to-back. He's 8,300. I think he's definitely worth a look in tournaments. He's not my favorite play, but I like the price tag.
Yeah, I get it. So there you go, babe. I'm gonna leave him on the shelf. Like he said, he's facing a team in roughly 5 to 6 days. They ought to have a beat on him. I think I'm gonna sit this one out. Like that's really all it is. I think he's fine, but I'm gonna sit this one out.
All right. Bats here for Baltimore. I have been a fan of Baltimore recently. I don't love this spot against Ober. I'm probably going to put Baltimore on the shelf today.
Yeah, I get that too. Especially they're coming off this huge game against the Yankees, and really 2 huge games, Stevie, because they lit it up on the slate before. I just think I think Ober is good enough, and that's kind of where I am. So both of these, Ober and the Baltimore offense, I'm going to both let them sit on the shelf today.
Minnesota Bats. I have not played a lot of Minnesota Bats this year, but I think this is a spot you could take some shots on Minnesota. Like I mentioned with Irvin, he's really struggled with right-handed bats and right-handed power. I like Correa and Buxton. I'll build around those 2 guys, kind of see who's in the lineup and who's not in the lineup here for them. But right-handed power bats, I think any of the righties in this lineup are in play. I hope Farmer's in there at 2,300 at second base. He's not a huge power guy, but he gives up so many barrels and stuff that I have a hard time not having any interest in right-handed hitters in this lineup outside of maybe our boy Solano. I don't ever play that guy. Thoughts
I don't know
on Minnesota
today though. I think this is a full stack spot for many today. I think you'll agree, even though you don't like Solano, like this is a good spot for this team.
He already hit his home run for the month. I can't play him anymore this month.
Well, the other thing is this team has also seen him again for the second time in 5 to 6 days. I mean, Gallo might be the ultimate one-off at 3,200 today. Like I know he might be really good, and so I am thrilled to get a crack at Mr. Cole Irvin yet again.
All right. We're on the same page with that one. We move on. We got St. Louis at Chicago taking on the White Sox. 9 total in this game. Pick'em game. Cease and Montgomery facing off against each other. Any interest here in Jordan Montgomery?
Stevie, I mean, this is an interesting spot for Montgomery, who, in a sense, has been pitching pretty well overall.
He's put it together recently.
Like
yeah.
He's been good. And so I think at 8,100, I think you have to consider him on this slate. And it's really considering who he's faced, Stevie. So he's faced a hot Cincinnati offense. He's faced the San Francisco offense that has a fair amount of power. They do have some strikeouts. He's faced Washington, which is a low strikeout team, 6 strikeouts. He's faced Houston recently, where Houston's been playing a lot better with some of their everyday guys back. He's picked up 6 strikeouts, going past a full quality start. And then he's faced the Yankees, who have been cold. But all in all, he's still faced what I feel like is quality, really good quality competition. You haven't seen like Kansas City or Detroit or even Minnesota, which is a fairly high strikeout offense, or Seattle. You've seen some fairly quality teams in there. I think this is a good spot for him. I think you have to consider him at this price against the White Sox.
Yeah, I like this matchup. He's been pitching phenomenal here recently. We saw this towards the end of last year, and we saw some brilliance at times at the beginning of this year. But yeah, he's starting to put it together. He looks fantastic on the hill. His advanced stats are backing up these starts. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a great spot for him. And Dylan Cease has been pitching a lot better outside of facing Oakland last time out.
I'm going to consider that an anomaly. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I think that both of these pitchers are very playable today. It's a tougher matchup for Cease when you're looking at it just overall, but yeah, I mean, he's been pitching a lot better. He had really high BABIP in that game last time out. So so 8,500. I think you could take shots on either one of these pitchers today. I think both of them are very much in play.
Yeah, I think Cease is going to be a good investment as well. Let me say this too, Stevie. The Oakland matchup may have actually helped us because, Cease's K-prop was starting to climb a little bit. And so that may kind of bring it back down to earth. Maybe we get it between 5.5, 6.5 today. Because St. Louis, they have been kind of an equalizer team where the books will adjust back when you're facing them. If we get him at 5.5 today, I think that's going to be an incredible investment opportunity. So I love this. I love this spot for Cease.
Any interest here in the Cardinals bats?
No, I don't. Cardinals bats, I don't think so. Not today. And they've been good, but I think I'm going to take the fade.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the Cardinals. I don't really even like the White Sox bats in this game. Do you have any interest in the White Sox bats?
Yeah, no. Like I said, both of these teams facing pretty good quality pitchers. I think I'm going to take the fade on both offenses, like both pitchers.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too with this one. So I'm right there with you. Seattle at Houston is where we go next. So 7.5 low total in this game. Castillo and Brown facing off against each other. Pick'em game. Any interest here in Luis Castillo?
I'm close on Castillo, Stevie. Like, he's been okay, but Houston is, in my opinion, they're starting to hit a lot better. I think if I'm on the 150 train, I definitely think I get in on Castillo. If I'm in 3-entry max, no way.
So the thing is, like, I feel like anybody that listens to the podcast every day, this is probably a broken record to you all at this time, and I'm sorry. And I know I say that all the time, but Houston is so right-handed heavy, and this dude has a 30.5% K rate against right-handed hitters this year. I think with the fact of how right-handed they are, you can take some shots here on Luis Castillo. I don't hate this spot. Hunter Brown on the other side of this game. Seattle strikes out a ton. This is a big strikeout spot. So I think both pitchers in this game have a lot of upside, with their respective matchups.
Yeah. So Steve, we were talking about these teams. We were talking about some of these pitchers earlier. We were talking about some guys that we would like. So now, as we've started to get to this mid-tier and upper mid-tier, I think you're starting to see a lot of guys that I'm interested in. Hunter Brown. I mean, this has got to be the spot of all spots, in my opinion, for him this season. Like, we've seen him tee off against Oakland. We've seen him tee off against Tampa Bay. we've seen him tee off against Minnesota. Like some of those big performances recently. Stevie, this has got to be one of his best spots of the year for strikeouts. Like maybe he gives up a run or two, and I definitely think that. But Hunter Brown, in terms of strikeouts, and he's been a strikeout guy this season, this is an incredibly high upside spot, and I don't think he's priced up enough. Like I think in terms of dynamic pricing, he probably should have been 10K in this spot, and we're getting him for 9,200. This is incredible. I love Hunter Brown today.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that, I mean, both of these guys, man. Is there any bats in this game that you like? Like, nothing jumping off the page to me on either side of this game, bats wise.
I've been muting myself and unmuting myself, and I'm with you. I don't think anything is, crazy today. Like both of these are quality pitchers. Once again, in terms of Castillo, I weigh him a little bit lower than Brown today, which is why, and I don't think I'll play him over Montgomery. I don't think I'll play him over Cease, but Castillo's still there. And so both of these offenses should be limited for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the two quality pitchers that we have here, and I mean, maybe you can make an argument anytime you want for a guy like Julio Rodriguez. You can always make an argument for him. But overall, I mean, I can't touch bats in this game. I think these two pitchers are very good, and I can't do it. All right, Mets and Padres is where we go next. We have Verlander and Darvish, 8 total in this game. Darvish a 130 favorite. Any interest here in Justin Verlander?
I don't think I can do it, Stevie. Like Verlander's a guy that's also been started to pitch better progressively over the past couple of starts. I'm going to trust that the Padres can hit the ball at home. I don't think Verlander makes the cut for me.
Just not that like dominant Justin Verlander anymore. Give me either one of the pitchers in the game before this. Like give me Castillo or Brown over Verlander today. I don't get there on Verlander today. I don't hate it, but he's not a guy that I'm going to get to today. Darvish, tough matchup against the Mets. Darvish has been struggling. I think I'm going to put Darvish on the shelf today as well.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Like, neither one of these guys, in my opinion, are better than the other 8K options we have in Cease, the 8K option we have in Montgomery. So they have to sit on the shelves. Yeah, I can't do it.
Mets bats, anything jumping off the page to you for New York?
That's the thing. So nothing's really jumping off the page to me for New York. They've been a weird offense. On paper, it feels like they should be so much better, Steven. It's just not materializing overall. So when it comes to the Mets, this season I've just committed to, if I want to play them, I stack them. I don't really want off the Mets outside of Alonso, but I don't mind stacking them. But in terms of just kind of picking and choosing, I'm not going to do that with them. Just going to, pull a few bats together and let them ride.
Yeah, I mean, Lindor or Alonso, I think is fine here. Maybe Alvarez. Overall, I don't have a ton of interest in the bats for the Mets today. Padres, I mean, Verlander has been a lot more hittable this year than he has in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Soto and Tatis are so expensive, though. What are your thoughts here on these guys?
Yeah, I think if you're stacking them, maybe you stack them from the ground up. And what I mean by that is like Cronenworth is 4,300. You've got Kim at 44, who's probably – I would play Cronenworth over him for sure. You got Machado at 52. You've got Xander at 5K. And I think then what I do, Steve, is I decide, do I want Tatis? Do I want Soto? I don't think I play either of them together. So that's the way I would approach it.
Yeah, moving on. Pittsburgh at Arizona. No total in this game. Hill and Gallen is what it sounds like it's going to end up being here. Any interest in Rich Hill going up against Arizona?
No.
Hey, I mean, we've played him a little bit this year. I don't think this
Not
is
today.
not the spot you want to play him today.
Against Minnesota, maybe. I mean, Milwaukee, like I think we considered him against Milwaukee. He was fine. Like they've been struggling with lefties, but Arizona's been a problem. And I know the Mets kind of went in there. I know Sinkley kind of had his way, and Scherzer had his way, and Sean Walters is talking about Carlos Correa. I know the Mets pitching staff has somewhat had their way with Arizona, but this team has been a problem for pitchers this season. I'm not doing it against Rich Hill. Like I can't.
I just think it's funny. Carlos Carrasco shutting down the Diamondbacks. Welcome to 2023 MLB. You ain't, Sean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Sean.
Where's the lie?
Yeah, I mean, not wrong. That's for sure. All right. Zach Gallen, 9,600. I like Gallen in this spot. I think this is the type of pitcher you want to attack the Pirates with. I think he can go out and have 6 or 7 really good innings against this team. So he's definitely another pitcher up towards the top of my board. Like, one of the reasons that I think you can kind of just cross off Burns and Darvish and Verlander is because we just have so many good pitching options on this slate. And I mean, here's another really good one. Gallen getting Pittsburgh.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gallen has been a guy that started out the season what I consider to be Stevie hot, and then he kind of fizzled out a little bit, and then now he's kind of ramped back up into what we've been seeing. He's had a matchup with Cleveland. And so here's the thing. Even against Cleveland, Stevie had a really nice matchup. Today he gets Pittsburgh coming to town. Pittsburgh has been another team that I've slowly dialed back picking on because they're not as bad as you think, especially their strikeout numbers. I'm a little weary on Gallen today. I do think he's got enough ground balls and enough strikeouts for it to work. I don't think this is his monster upside game like I feel about Hunter Brown and some others. So I get it. I think if I run 150, maybe I'm right with the field or a little under, just because I like Hunter Brown so much more and Dylan Cease so much more than him in terms of upside today.
Pittsburgh bats, anything jumping off the page to you here?
No. This is also a spot where I'm not going to be heavy on Pittsburgh. Too many games today. I've already got some stacks that I've talked about that I actually like. So I'm not rushing to play Pittsburgh.
No interest for me, Pittsburgh bats. As far as Arizona goes,
oh yes,
Christian Walker, a guy that just keeps doing his thing here against left-handed pitching. Really like him. Evan Longoria has been phenomenal this year. I like this spot, and then why can't I think of his name? The catcher that got called back up or got back from IL, Carson Kelly. He's another guy that I don't mind. He's a lot better against left-handed pitching than he is against right-handed pitching. So don't mind the Arizona bats here against Rich Hill.
Yeah, for sure. Love Arizona here. You got Lourdes Gurriel as well. And then, man, as long as they keep hitting my boy Perdomo at the top of the lineup, Stevie, I like it. I know the fantasy production has been down, but, I mean, this is a guy that was hitting the ball really well earlier this season. I think he'll come back around. Love the Diamondbacks today.
Moving on. Battle of LA. They call it the Freeway Series, I think. Canning and Gosselin facing off, no total in this game. Any interest in Griffin Canning going up against the Dodgers?
No.
Different slate, maybe. I mean, Griffin Canning has definitely been pitching a lot better. I just don't see myself getting to him on this slate. There's a lot of good pitching on the slate. I don't see myself getting to Canning.
Yep.
And Daryl says in chat, don't be shocked if Rich Hill has a decent outing. I'm never shocked anymore when Rich Hill has a decent outing.
Nope. He's been doing this to me all season. I just keep laughing.
He's been doing this for the last 15 years. Any interest here? Listen, you're laughing. My FanDuel account is 2009. I'm getting close to 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
Any interest in Gonsolin going up against the Angels?
Oh, Stevie, I don't think I can. Like I just don't think he has enough upside. And this is actually an okay spot for him, but just no upside, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, Dury and Trout being on the IL, Rendon being hurt up or banged up right now. They did say he could potentially return to the lineup today. I don't know if it helps or hurts. His strikes out, like, because he strikes out a lot less, I think it definitely hurts the upside. I mean, you're really just kind of getting around Ohtani at this point. So I don't think I'll do it, but I wouldn't talk you off of it because it's just not your typical Angels lineup. Angels bats. I mean, I like Ohtani every single day. Outside of him, I got no interest.
Yep, I'm with you 100%.
Derek in chat says Anthony Rendon doesn't look like he cares anymore.
Send him back to Washington.
You know how much that guy's getting paid to play baseball per year right now?
Yeah,
a lot. He signed it was like a 250 or 240 or something. His contract is, someone look it up. I'm curious, but I know he signed a monster contract. He is getting paid a lot of jelly beans. Dodgers bats. I mean, Canning's been good. The Dodgers are a phenomenal offense. They're expensive. This might be one of the slates that you get Dodgers at lower ownership. Do you have any interest here in the Blue Crew?
Yeah, so it's weird, Stevie. A lot of times when these offenses get really expensive, that's when I get more intrigued, especially on a big slate, because we know the ownership is not going to be there. Like, this isn't the best spot for the Dodgers, so I don't think people are going to be excited about hitting them up. And so for that reason, I think just plugging in a Dodger stack, a couple Dodger stacks in your 20 entry max and your 150, I think it's going to do the body good. Because if they tee off on Griffin Canning, you better believe you're going to be bringing up the rear really nicely if the rest of your build is holding its own. So I like the Dodgers today. I think they're under-owned, really great offense, playing late at night, Stevie. So no instant gratification, right? Like some of the other teams. I love it. Great spot for the Dodgers, I think, in terms of ownership.
I just like the potential of the ownership here. I think the ownership is the thing that like jumps out the most to me. Is you're going to get a top tier offense like the Dodgers who can break any slate at lower ownership here. So that's what jumps off the page to me so much here. All right, we finish it out. Rockies and Giants. No total in this game. Gomber and Stripling. That's where we finish our night. Any interest here in Gomber?
Nope.
Yeah, I do like lefties against this team, but I'm not playing this guy. That's for sure. Any interest here in Ross Stripling?
Nope.
Let's talk some bats, Will. Listen, I don't love the Rockies, but I don't mind like using some cheaper bats here for Colorado. I mean, they're dealing with a lot of people being out of the lineup right now. So CJ Cron's 3,900. Nolan Jones is 3,900. Those would be my two favorite bats here. But I mean, Grichuk has been ice cold this season. It feels like he's hitting for a lot more like average. His numbers have been a little bit better here recently. He's 3,400. Like, we're getting some cheap bats for Colorado in a good matchup against Stripling.
Yeah, that's where I am overall. Like, I think if this matchup was in Colorado, Stevie, I think we'd be all over this. But these are two not so great pitchers, and so I think with the opportunities we're going to have, I like Colorado here. Once again, they're cheap. You talked about Chrome being at 3,900. Chris Bryant's 4,400. So I think this is a good spot, Stevie, that we can get a low-owned team. Yes, not a super high-power offense, but they're not facing a pitcher that's going to beat them down. And so I can pair them with the Dodgers. I can pair them with the Rangers. I can pair them with Boston and still get quality pitching. I think this presents a good opportunity for us in a spot where no one's going to be looking at the Rockies today against Stripling. I think it's a good spot.
Giants bats against Gomber. Gosh, man, the more I think about it, the more. Will, I need you to just talk to me about the Giants. Don't let me think about playing Gomber anymore. Talk to me about the Giants.
I think the Giants are going to give us some good opportunities here. They're going to platoon them. I already know. So that's something that we have to take into consideration. One of the things I do like about the Giants, and I know this guy's a lefty, but Yaz is back, and so that gives them a little bit more firepower. They've got Sable, who's going to be hitting. They've got Wade. I think Flores probably gets to start today. And Wilmer Flores at 2,800 facing Gomber should be a good spot for us. J.D. Davis is absolutely going to crack the lineup. Schmidt will probably crack the lineup as well, especially in the platoon situation. So I think overall, even though they're going to have the platoon guys are very cheap, and Gomber has been not good at all. So I like the opportunity we're going to get. It's just we got to hope we get it early because some of these guys will get pulled.
Oh, yeah, pinch hit risk. Maybe it's not worth it with the pinch hit risk. I don't know. Gomber is interesting to me. I don't love the Giants bats just because of the pinch hit risk. We have so many other spots to go to. Maybe a cheap one off or something, but not my favorite spot today. All right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we will get out of here. We have under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got?
Let's see, Stevie. This was the one tricky spot today because everyone was over 8K. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but give me Aaron Savali, but I don't like it.
I mean, that's who I was going to pick, but give me Gomber. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
Verlander.
I like that one a lot. I am going to go...
I mean, I think there's an obvious one, but it's probably not as obvious because he can still get there.
Yeah, I think Rodon can still get there even with 75 pitches.
That's the obvious one. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Give me you Darvish.
Like it.
Over 4K to hit a home run. Who's going yard today?
Whoo. Man, this one was a tough one for me today. I'm going out to Arizona. Give me Ketel Marte.
I'm going Byron Buxton. The barrel rate that you get from Irvin is just phenomenal. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bet that you like today?
Well, this team has a lot of cheap bats. And give me J.D. Davis against Gomber.
I'm going to go to one of my favorite young players in baseball, and I really like his swing. Give me Nolan Jones against Stripling. Stack to score 6 or more runs. No pressure, but I picked Baltimore yesterday.
Okay. Give me – there's a lot of them, man. I'm trying to go off the wall here because I feel like Texas and some of these other teams are going to be super popular. Give me Arizona. I like them against Rich Hill.
All right. Yeah, I like that. I am going to go Texas.
I like it. Yep.
Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, man. This should be a fun slate. Mix it up. And, hopefully this information we've helped you with can lead you guys to some big takedowns right before the weekend on a Friday. So love joining Stevie and helping out all of you beautiful people.
Yes. MLB All-Star break upon us. We will be back next Friday. You won't see this beard for 7 days. We're going to be off for a little while. Will be back with me next Friday.
Yes.
We'll be back from the All-Star break, talking it up and having some fun. So hope everyone enjoys a nice little break from baseball. We got NASCAR Atlanta Sunday nights. Very excited for that. So if you're in the NASCAR streets, I'll see you there. If not, we'll be back in a week. Enjoy the All-Star break because I know I am, and I know my wife's list is a mile long. So I'm excited for that. So have a fantastic break, and we'll be back next week. Enjoy your Friday. We'll see you then.